I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to take a look at 25 things I said I was not going to buy in 2025. And now that it's 2026, we're going to see if I managed to hold to that list and what I think of that plan 1 year later. If you want to take a look at that original video so you can see exactly why I chose not to buy these things, then I'll link that video here and in the show notes. But now we're going to jump right in with thing number 1, fragrance. I really enjoy perfume, the experience of applying it, the feeling of smelling nice throughout the day, but when I wear it, despite the fact that I wear it a couple times a week, I don't tend to douse myself in it, so I go through bottles of perfume extremely slowly. And for that reason, I feel like over the years, I've kind of collected a bunch of bottles, and I was getting worried that I wasn't going to be able to make my way through all of them. So I decided to put a halt to my purchasing. I went on a fragrance no-buy last year, and the question is, did I hold to it? Da, 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 da. I did. I did not buy a single new fragrance last year, but a new fragrance did come into my life through PR. This is from the brand Noise, the fragrance Only Human, and they sent me this bottle in addition to their solid travel perfume. And I have to say, I really, really like this one. This kind of scent is right up my alley. It is sweet, but not too sweet. I feel like there's just a little bit of complexity to it because it does have a peppery note in there, but it's not a peppery note that's like too strong for me. And I really enjoy this. But I was thinking to myself, if I decide I want to keep this one, I really should give away another one that I already own just to make sure that I'm not collecting too many bottles at once. And so I decided I do want to keep this, and I am going to be giving away one of my favorite fragrances because I feel like this version of the fragrance fits me better. I am going to give away my bottle of By the Fireplace by Replica. That is a gorgeous scent. I know it's a lot of people's favorite. It was long one of mine. The one issue I've always had with that scent was the patchouli note in there. When I wear it in my hair, it smells really nice, but if it comes into contact with my skin, I feel like the patchouli is too strong and it kind of overwhelms the rest of the fragrance. This reminds me of the same kind of vibe as By the Fireplace, but without that note of patchouli. And so I think this is a better match for me. So that means I am going to be giving away my bottle of By the Fireplace and instead keeping this. And I think that's a testament to how much I like this, the fact that I'm letting it displace one of my old favorites. But it really is a nice fragrance that I enjoy. But am I happy with the fact that I stopped buying fragrance last year? Yes, it's one less thing, one less item of inventory that I have to clean and care for and maintain. And it's helping me really dive into my other fragrances more because I'm focusing on enjoying them instead of searching for something new. On to thing number 2, face palettes. When it comes to makeup, I really enjoy face palettes, but I find that I only really use them if they have several different products in them. So for example, one of my favorite products of all time is the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Face in a Palettes that she came out with again and again over the years. Those get a ton of use because I travel a lot and those have eyeshadows and bronzer and blush and highlighter in them. So it's a very useful travel palette for me. That kind of face palette I can see myself buying if I need it. However, what I have noticed over the years is that I don't really buy them if it's just a palette full of blushes or just a palette full of highlighters or just a palette full of bronzers. And so that's something I decided I was going to avoid. And did I avoid it? I did! I didn't buy a single face palette this year. Unless, of course, you count one of the upcoming ones, but I've put it in a different category, so you'll see what that one is in just a minute. Thing number 3 that I said I wouldn't buy is foundation, because relatively recently, a couple of years ago, I did what I consider to be a tragic foundation declutter, where I had to get rid of a bunch of things only because they went bad, because I didn't get around to using them. And that was my own fault because I had bought too many things at once. I only have one face. I can only wear so much foundation at once, so it only makes sense for me to have the amount of foundation that I can realistically use within a period of time. So I decided I didn't want to be buying any more foundations in 2025 because I already had 2 that were older. They were getting up there in years, and I had a skin tint from Wet n Wild that needed to get used up. And on top of that, I had a relatively new foundation from Surat. That's already 4 foundations. And I feel like that's kind of my limit. So I decided I wasn't going to buy any more. And did I? I did. But I don't feel so bad about it because I used up the skin tint, so that was gone. The Surat foundation that I had bought, the new one, that exploded all over my room. Plus, I really didn't like that foundation. It did not work on my skin type. So I just figured, you know what? I used up one, another one got totally destroyed, and so I think I can probably get one more. And my favorite foundation, the one that I have 2 of in 2 different colors, is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. And I just thought, you know what, I've got this Double Wear Foundation, which is matte, it is full coverage, and although that is a super flexible foundation, and I realize it has been discontinued, they've reformulated it, and I haven't tried the new formulation yet, but at least the old formulation that I have is incredibly flexible. You could do anything you wanted to with that. You could make it into a dewy skin tint if you wanted to. You could keep it matte and full coverage. It was all basically in how you applied it. So I really, really like that foundation, and I'm so sad that it's gone. But I decided, you know what, I know that I can make it into a dewier skin tint, but I think I would rather have just maybe a medium coverage foundation that's not quite as matte. And so I decided I was going to get the Haus Labs Triclone foundation because I had borrowed some to do a review several years ago. So I decided to buy my very own bottle of it in my skin tone. And I have to say, I'm really glad that I did. I've been getting a lot of use out of this. When I came here, I only brought my Salt New York skin tint with me, which is great, but it is just a basic skin tint. And this gives me a little bit more coverage. Plus, this is liquid, the other one is cream, and they both have their advantages and disadvantages. And so I just felt like having a liquid foundation would be nice. And so I did buy this one in December. But as I mentioned, 2 of them had already moved out of my collection. I only replaced them with one. So even though I said I wasn't going to buy one, I think the circumstances of the year ended up changing in such a way that it made sense for me to get this one. I also decided I wasn't going to be buying any lipsticks. I try to buy makeup according to my container concept, meaning I have a set container for every single category of makeup that I own. And once that container is comfortably full, not bursting and overloaded, but once it's comfortably full, then I put myself on an automatic no-buy for that category. And lipstick has been full for me for the past couple of years. So I have been on a lipstick no-buy. Did I manage to hold to that no-buy last year? Dun, dun, dun. I did. I did not buy a single lipstick, and I'm very happy about that because if you saw my recent lip declutter, you'll know that I went through that container and found that some of my lipsticks are beginning to expire. They are quite old, so it didn't surprise me when a couple of them did. But the reality is, had I been buying lipsticks, I would have felt really bad that those had gone off. But because I haven't bought lipsticks in several years, even though I wasn't happy about the fact that I had to say goodbye to them, I at least didn't feel bad that I was bringing in too much because I think I've managed to get my lipstick issue under control for now. Thing number 5 is cream cosmetics. I said I wasn't going to buy any creams because I already had enough. Salt New York sent me a whole bunch of their Sneaky Balm and Best Case Concealer and blushes last year, and cream cosmetics can go off faster than powder ones just because of the nature of how they're formulated. And so I decided I really didn't want to be buying any cream cosmetics because in addition to the stuff that Salt sent me in PR, I also already owned a bunch of cream cosmetics that I'm trying to work through before they expire. So I told myself I was not going to buy any, and I almost did it. Then the end of the year came and Hannah Louise Poston released her collaboration with Salt New York, which I have here. So I did buy it. On the one hand, I bought it for my channel. I didn't buy it for me, but at the same time, I also personally wanted it. So this was kind of one of those things that was a little bit iffy. What do I think of this? I think if you enjoy the Salt New York blush formula and you like muted colors like this, I think you're really going to enjoy it. As for me, I'm a huge fan of Salt New York, but I am really personally the biggest fan of their Sneaky Balm, and then their Best Case Concealer comes second. But their blush formula, I think I think it has its merits, but I don't think that it's made for my personal body chemistry because that formula tends to sit on top of my skin instead of soaking in. So even though the blushes look nice on me, and I do think they're a nice blush, I just don't think they're for me. They don't match my personal taste. Now, the reason that I decided to purchase these was not only because I thought it would be good to review them on my channel, but also because when I was looking at the video that Hannah posted about these, she had mentioned that the formula was a little bit different. It was a little bit stiffer, a little bit meatier. And I just thought, wow, that's what I think I want from those blushes. So I decided I would try it and see if the formula was different enough. And for me, it is not different enough. That doesn't mean I think it's a bad product. I think they did a great job dialing in the colors. I think that the formula matches the old blush formula well enough that anybody who likes that old blush formula is really going to enjoy these. But I do have to say it hasn't been my personal favorite, even though I really do like the colors. For those of you who have been wanting to see my review on this and wondering why I bought it for my channel and then never reviewed it, that's just because I had to move and there was a whole big scheduling conflict. And then by the time I got here, my lighting and my camera situation was so confusing that I didn't think I was going to be able to represent the colors well enough. But now that I think I have everything set up relatively decently, I am going to be reviewing these. I know it's late, but the product is still available, so I will be getting this up soon. So if you want to see my thoughts on this product, even though it's already been out for a while, make sure to subscribe because that will be coming. I also decided I wasn't going to be buying any eyeliners. I have a whole book of them at home, so I don't really need any. I've got several different browns, which are my favorites, but I also have a bunch of different colors from the rainbow because when I do use color on my eyes, it tends to be in the form of a liner. So I thought to myself, you know what, I don't really need any more. So did I buy any in 2025? No, I did not. I was successful. Was I tempted to buy an eyeliner though? Yes, which is strange for me because eyeliner isn't normally something that tempts me. But the Prada eyeliner in the shade Menta, I think it is, it's a very pale light green. And I really wanted to try that because I've noticed some redness in my bottom waterline lately, and I wanted to use that as a color corrector. I still think it would be a great idea. I still potentially want to try it someday, but I just figured for the most part, I use a beige eyeliner for that sort of thing, just to kind of brighten my bottom waterline. And so I figured I would just stick to what I have for now. I said I wasn't going to buy any eyeliner in 2025, so I probably shouldn't. And I didn't, and I'm very happy about it because that Prada eyeliner will still be there when my beige one runs out. Category 7 was eyelash primer. I have never met an eyelash primer that has actually done anything for my lashes, so I just figured I would stop trying them. Did I buy any? Nope, and I'm very happy that I didn't. I don't feel like I missed anything. Category number 8 is lip plumpers. Just like many people out there, I have often fallen victim to the idea of plumping up beautiful lips. And so I have bought lip plumpers in the past, but what I've come to realize is I just have very sensitive lips. And even if a lip product isn't plumping, I can often have sensitivities to it. And lip plumpers are even worse. So I decided I'm just gonna stop buying the lip plumpers. And have I regretted it? No. Did I buy any last year? Also no. Category number 9 is pH adjusting cosmetics. I have tried so many different versions of that over the years, and every single one of them has always turned too bright of a shade of pink, at least for me and my tastes. So I decided I'm not even going to try them anymore. Did I buy any? No. Was I tempted? Also no. The second I see that something is pH adjusting, even if I was tempted initially, that stops me in my tracks. Category number 10 is dupes of stuff I already have. I'm the sort of person, I tend to fall for the same exact type of thing over and over again. If you've never seen my makeup collection video, I'll link that for you because if you watch that, you'll notice that I have several of the same dirt-colored dirt palettes. It's just like the same thing from different brands. And I realized I wanted to stop doing that. So that's what I did. And when I saw something that tempted me out on the market, I always decided to check my collection first to see if I already own something similar. So for example, when the Makeup by Mario Nature palette came out, I was thrilled. I wanted it so badly, but then I realized if I just looked in my own eyeshadows, I could build an even better version of that palette that suits me. And so that's what I did. I have been taking this around the planet with me because I like it so much. And I am very happy that I didn't buy that palette. I have to admit, sometimes I am tempted by the neat professional packaging because I like it when things are just nice and neat and in pretty components. But this product here, I have gotten so much use out of. And so even though every once in a while I still get tempted to buy the palette, I just realize it's not a wise decision because I already basically have that palette right here. And I have been enjoying it so much ever since I made it. So have I duped my own collection this year? The one thing that I bought, I guess that you could say was a dupe, was my Gucci bronzer. But it wasn't exactly a dupe because I didn't have anything in exactly that color or that formula. As far as I'm concerned, the Gucci bronzer formula is my favorite. It is blurring, it is lightweight, and the colors are amazing. I accidentally got sent different colors. It was a whole thing, but now I ended up with 3 different bronzers. It turns out I really like all 3 colors because none of them are similar to what I already have. So was it really a dupe? I don't think so. Did I need it? No. But I think splurging every once in a while on something that you really treasure can be a lot of fun. And I have definitely come to treasure that Gucci bronzer. Thing number 12 is nail polish. I've never really been a big nail polish person because I use my hands a lot for work, and that means I always have to keep my nails really short. Plus, they're very brittle and flimsy by nature, so they're constantly breaking. They don't often look very nice, so I was never a big nail polish person to begin with. But I then discovered the glory of making your own press-ons, taking nail tips and polishing them. So not last year, but the year before, I managed to collect several different nail polishes, and I decided I just wanted to use those and see the sorts of things that I could do with the press-on nails. And to be honest, I feel like I wasn't even able to take full advantage of what I already had just because I was so pressed for time that I often didn't have time to paint the nails like I would have liked to. So did I buy any new nail polish? I did not, which is great. And I'm very happy that I didn't because I want to make sure that I can get more use out of what I wasn't able to use as much as I wanted to last year. On a related note, I also decided I wasn't going to be buying any pre-designed press-on nails. I wanted to try to see how far I could take my own nail painting abilities by designing my own press-ons. I think press-ons are great. They're very efficient for me because when I'm working, I can take them off, and when I'm not working, I can still feel like I have beautifully manicured hands. But I really want to focus more on designing my own. So the only nails that I wanted to allow myself to buy were either the blank tips that I could paint or my favorite French manicure, because those French tips, they just look classy, they're easy, and the ones that I found are just extremely durable, so I find that I can wear them over and over again, and it's really economical and pretty. So did I buy any designed press-ons other than those French tips? I did not. And I'm really glad I didn't because I didn't even have time to paint the designs that I would have liked. So I'm looking forward to trying to put more of an emphasis on that this year. I would really like to do that as a hobby. Thing number 14 on my No-Buy 25 list was untargeted skincare. There are so many products out on the market nowadays. Some of them are absolutely mind-blowing. Some of them just have absolutely mind-blowing marketing, but they're actually just kind of okay products. And then there are so many videos with people talking about how they like this and why they like that. And so it's often tempting for me to want to buy into all of this, to have the most beautiful skin by using all of the things. But I have to say that doesn't work for me. For the longest time, I just had an extremely simple skincare routine. I just had a $3 moisturizer from Aldi, some sunscreen, and a cleanser, and that was pretty much it for the majority of my adult life. Then I fell down the rabbit hole of skincare YouTube, and wow, I discovered so many different things and ingredients and products that I was so interested in. And there was a period of about 2 to 3 years a while back where I just went crazy and I bought all of of these things. And all of a sudden I realized I had a bathroom full of skincare and I didn't even really know what was doing what for me. I just thought, well, I heard good things about all this stuff, so I'll just smear it all over my face. And I didn't necessarily look bad, but all of a sudden I began to feel like maybe I was just throwing money out the window because I wasn't sure what was actually making my skin look nice and what was just kind of a mediocre thing that was just adding a little bit of extra moisture. So I decided a couple of years ago that I was going to stop buying skincare and just use up what I had. And between using up what I already had and then getting decluttered some deluxe samples from friends and family, I just haven't bought skincare in a long time. But I decided I wanted to start putting together a regimen for myself, but I wanted to make sure that it was targeted skincare, that I was going to be buying things that were actually going to do something, because why should I spend my money and my time on it if it doesn't do what it says it's going to do? Because here's the thing, there is so much great skincare out there, but I want to make sure that I am buying the things that are best suited to my personal physiology and my personal issues. So I decided if I buy any skincare at all, I want to make sure that I am researching it and really buying what I think has the best chance of improving whatever issue I'm looking to improve. So did I buy any untargeted skincare in 2025? No, I did not, and I'm very happy about it. On a related note, thing 15 was that I didn't want to buy skincare unless I was buying it with a method in mind, meaning I wanted to buy it step by step. I didn't want to buy a whole bunch of skincare at once, put it on my face, see a change, and then not know exactly which product was causing which benefit. I want to know what my skincare is doing so that each product really justifies itself to me, so that I'm not just spending money on things that aren't actually doing what I want them to. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I see people talking about skincare on YouTube and I go, oh, I want to try that. Oh, I want to try that. I want to try all the things. And so this year, did I do that? I did not. Hooray! And what I did instead was every time someone mentioned something that I was interested in or that piqued my attention, instead of buying it, I would write it down and research it, decide if it was something I thought might be worth investing some time in testing, investing some money in buying, and I just kind of collected a bunch of different ideas, and I didn't buy anything until Black Friday. Once Black Friday came around, that's when I spent my money. But when I did, I only bought products that I had already scheduled for a test, because I decided that this year I'm going to be doing something that I call my Great Skinvestigation, where I am going to be methodically testing products over a period of time to see which ones are effective. So I will be testing individual things, I will be testing regimens, but when I do that, I'll be documenting it with before and after pictures, and I'll be giving them a sufficient amount of time on their own to see if they create the effects in my skin that I'm hoping that they will. So if you want to follow along with that, make sure you subscribe. Another thing I said I wouldn't buy is chemical sunscreens, at least for my face. I don't mind chemical sunscreens for my body, but my rosacea has really kicked into high gear lately. Ever since perimenopause started, the inflammation in my face has really just gone crazy. And so I'm trying to reduce the amount of factors that can influence that. And I know that I personally have had issues with some chemical skincare, not necessarily with my rosacea, but I do have a little patch of eczema here that will come out every once in a while if I use a chemical sunscreen. And because my skin is sensitive there, I think the rosacea might also be sensitive to the chemicals. So I'm trying to stick to mineral sunscreen only. This was actually a pretty easy one for me to do just because that patch of eczema has been getting more and more uncomfortable as perimenopause progresses. So I just feel like it was like less painful for me to only try mineral sunscreen. So far, so good. Didn't buy any chemical ones. Thing number 17 is conductor gel. This is the sort of thing that I would use with my Zip microcurrent device, because you need a medium on your face to conduct the microcurrent from the device into your skin. And I said I wasn't going to buy this anymore because I wanted to try doing tricks like using an aloe vera plant and just taking the juice from there and putting it on my face, maybe even using water to see if that would work. But it turns out I didn't really need to do that because I haven't been using my microcurrent device lately. Not because because it doesn't work. In fact, when I do use it, I feel like my whole face and neck and chest look better, but I have just had a crazy year. I really didn't have the nerve or the time for it, and so I just kind of let it fall by the wayside, which means I still have some conductor gel left over. So I didn't need to buy any because I wasn't really using all that much of it. So no, didn't buy any. But that of course also means I didn't get to test out the other methods. So I don't know for sure if they'll work, but maybe I'll never have to find out if I never run out of my current conductor gel. Thing number 18 I said I wouldn't buy is cheap costume jewelry. I have more jewelry than any one person needs. The majority of it is pretty cheap costume jewelry. And the reason I have it is just because of my job. I've worked on the stage for years. I've had all sorts of different costumes and looks over the years. And so all of that was for that. But the reality is I think I have enough. If I ever need to recreate a look, I think I can do that. But I have so much that I actually went through and did a massive declutter, and I still feel like I have far too much jewelry. So I think I need to do another massive declutter because I still have too much. So that meant I didn't necessarily feel a need to buy any jewelry just because I already had so much of it. There were a couple of pieces that I saw out in the world that I really wanted, but they were more expensive, higher quality things that were made with precious metals, precious stones, that were handmade by artisans. Those are the sort of things that are my favorite now. And they're also the sort of thing that I don't necessarily feel the need to buy all that frequently. If I see a piece that really speaks to me, I've seen a couple from several different artists that I really like, then maybe at some point I will buy one or two pieces, but I haven't done that just yet because I feel like I have enough for now. So I didn't buy any cheap jewelry, but I also didn't buy any of the more expensive jewelry either. Thing number 19 that I said I wouldn't buy is plastic clothing, meaning polyester. And the reason that I don't want to buy that is just because I feel like, number one, my skin breathes easier in more natural fabrics, but number two, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, higher quality clothing is made from the nicer, more natural materials. And I'm trying to drift more towards buying fewer, just really nice, sturdy, rugged pieces that will last me for years and years, hopefully the rest of my life, instead of buying pieces of clothing that will only really be useful to me for a year or two. So I feel like other than outerwear and bras, I really wanted to stick to more natural clothing. So silk, cotton, wool, those sorts of things. And so the question is, did I? And the answer is yes. And I actually really liked having this category in there because it made me not buy anything. I bought one item of clothing last year, and that was a linen blazer for work, for a very specific costume. And that was it. I didn't buy anything else. And it wasn't for lack of looking because there were several times that I went shopping. I wanted to find a pair of jeans, and it's very difficult to find 100% cotton jeans or 100% denim without any sort of spandex or anything in it. And, that fit just the right way. They do exist because I have owned them in the past, but the model that I had was discontinued and I need to find a new one, and I haven't quite found it yet. But that was okay because I felt like it slowed the pace of my search down, it slowed the pace of my shopping down, and it's making me much more careful about my choices. And I like that. I like that I'm becoming more aware of what I'm buying, of where I'm spending, of how long I think I'll be wearing things. I'm more aware of the price per wear of things. So I'm very happy about this. And no, I did not buy anything that was polyester this year. Thing number 20 on my no-buy list is trendy clothing. Now, I have absolutely nothing against trends. And if there were a piece of trendy clothing that I feel like would suit me so well that I would wear it for the rest of my life regardless of trends, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about trendy clothing that feels in and of the moment now, but a year or two later feels like kind of embarrassing to wear because it's so 2025. So that's the sort of thing that I didn't want to be buying. And the reason I don't want to buy trendy clothing that I'm only going to wear for a year or two is because if I'm going to be investing the money in more high quality pieces with more natural materials, I want to make sure that I can wear them for a long time. And if a trend comes and goes and I don't want to wear it anymore, then I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose. So did I buy any trendy clothing? I don't know if the blazer that I bought was trendy. I didn't buy it for a trend by any means. I just bought it because I needed it for work. But no, I didn't buy any trendy clothing. So I don't know if that just says that I don't know what's going on. But I feel like I hit my goal no matter what. No buy thing number 21 was fast fashion. I said I didn't want to buy any fast fashion, but that is kind of a hard thing to define nowadays because there are things that are clearly fast fashion. Stores like H&M or Forever 21, where they're just producing clothing piece after clothing piece at such an incredibly fast pace that it's just horrible for the environment. There's that kind of fast fashion, but then there are also things like Banana Republic. They're not necessarily pumping things out as fast as H&M or Forever 21, but that is also considered fast fashion, even though it is at a higher price point and they don't release quite as many different items per season. But that is still considered fast fashion by some people. So I almost feel like I have to define fast fashion for myself just because it gets tricky otherwise. And so my personal definition of fast fashion was I didn't want to be going to places like H&M or Forever 21 or, Shein, things like that are just constantly producing way too much stuff. And that I would look at things like Banana Republic because when I buy things from those stores, I do feel like I wear them for years and years and years. And when I'm buying a piece of clothing and it's going to last me for years, I feel like it's okay. Even if I'm buying it from what is technically considered a fast fashion brand, if you're really looking into the nitty-gritty of the logistics, I feel like it's okay. Because the whole purpose is making sure that my personal footprint is smaller and that I'm just not buying as many things and that the things that I do buy that I'm wearing more often last a long time. And I personally have had good experiences with some of the higher end fast fashion brands. And so I was going to allow myself to look in that direction. Did I buy anything? Like I said, I didn't really buy all that much because my no polyester rule kind of hindered me from looking at a lot of things, but it ended up being an advantage. I don't feel like I lost out. I don't regret that I didn't buy more clothes in 2025. So no, I didn't buy any fast fashion because I wasn't really buying anything, but I'm okay with that. Thing number 22 is I said I did not want to buy any clothes unless they were a 10 out of 10. So unless they were stellar and fit me like a glove and make me feel absolutely amazing, I wanted nothing to do with them. Did this work for me? I have to say this, along with the no plastic clothing thing, I think made it impossible for me to buy much because I just wasn't finding anything that was a 10 out of 10 for me. And that's okay because I feel like the pickier I am, the happier I ultimately become with what I do choose to get. So I didn't really buy much. The one thing that I did buy, that blazer, I'm not entirely sure that I could consider that a 10 out of 10. So I'm not sure if I nailed this one. But that being said, I had to buy that blazer for a very specific purpose for work. And in that context, it was a 10 out of 10 because it perfectly suited that purpose. So I don't know. What do you think? Did I make it? Did I not? Thing number 23 is I said I did not want to buy any clothing without a purpose. So anything that's impractical or doesn't have a specific function. And I think what I was trying to achieve with this is that I wanted to make sure that I'm not buying clothing for my fantasy self. I wanted to dress for who I really am and who I really want to be and can actively be going forward. And I think I pretty much achieved that because the one thing that I bought was definitely for a specific purpose. Thing number 24 is notebooks and stationery. I have a soft spot for that sort of thing. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm crafty. I really like to write things down instead of typing them. So when I'm doing creative work, for example, in my work as a musician, I often work as a songwriter. I tend to write the lyrics down while I'm working on the song instead of typing them. I just feel like I have more of a connection to myself that way. And so I really like notebooks. But I don't need any more because pretty much everyone I know knows that I like to write things down instead of type them. So everyone gives me beautiful, gorgeous, totally functional notebooks. So I don't need to buy any because I think I have a whole bookshelf at home at this point just of empty notebooks waiting to be filled. So I don't need to go and add to that by buying even more. And when it comes to stationery, I don't know what it is. Like if you give me beautiful pens and beautiful little like stickers that I can use for my planner and all this stuff, like, and I just go crazy. I don't know why. Maybe it's the crafty side of me comes out and I want to get all creative and draw things and, do all sorts of, cool notebooky artsy things. But the reality is I don't have time for that. I have so much on my plate already. So I don't need to be adding to a pile of crafting materials. And did I buy any? No. I was tempted by a set of gel pens this year, but I didn't buy them. And I also didn't buy some of the cool highlighters that I saw or any of the other writing utensils, but I am still always tempted by them. And my last item on the list might seem a little bit random, but it kind of, I think, came from my experiences trying to pan makeup. And that was, I told myself I no longer want to get any store-bought pre-formulated cleaning products because I don't know how it happened, but I have so many. I have like an entire huge cabinet just bursting with cleaning utensils and materials and formulas and liquids and spray bottles. And I don't even know how half of them got there because I don't remember buying them. So I don't know if they're multiplying underneath the sink or what, but I want to try my best to use all of them up. And I have been using them regularly. I don't know why they refuse to be used up, but they haven't been yet. And so I'm still working on that. I did not buy any more, thank goodness, but my eventual goal is to start making them myself. And I don't mean in the sense of like, earthy crunchiness. I just mean in the sense of I would like to have ideally just like 3 or 4 bottles of things that maybe I can combine. Like I have to learn a little bit about what's going to be good against, say, hard water stains and what's going to be good against, fatty things on the stove, if there's any residue from cooking or, things like that. Like I just need to figure out a basic, little chemistry kit of cleaners so I can just make my own. That's what I would like to do because I want to just have less stuff. I just want to have it work for me. And I don't want to have like 50 different bottles of products for different surfaces and different types of dirt. So that's my end goal, and I'm very committed to it. So no, I did not buy any cleaning products. So all in all, I think I did a pretty good job of actually sticking to this no-buy list. There were, of course, a couple of items where I kind of fell off the train a little bit, but in some of those cases, I really feel like it's just because my life circumstances changed. So it made sense to make adjustments. And I think that's important with anything, whether that's a no-buy, whether that's budgeting, that we're constantly reevaluating things to make sure that the plans we have actually make sense. Because there's no sense in sticking to something just to stick to it. But I am really happy that I made this list because I feel like it was in the back of my mind all year. And so anytime I was tempted to buy something, it made me think about whether I really should buy that thing first. And ultimately, I'm really happy with the decisions I made based on that. So I think I might even do this again. If I do, would you like to hear about that list? Maybe a 26 things I'm not buying in 2026? If so, let me know by sending me a flower emoji in the comments. And of course, if you'd like to share anything that you've decided you're not going to buy this year, I would love to hear about that too. And if you enjoy beauty content that attempts to balance enjoying what we have with the thrill of the new, then I hope you will like, comment, subscribe, and maybe check out this video here. Thanks for hanging out, and to all of my patrons and channel members, including my Adagio angels, for making content like this possible. I hope we can all remember that even stumbling is a form of moving forward. So let's stumble in style.